Good evening, everyone. It's Leslie with the New Mexico Small Business Development Center, and I'm excited to present to you Dr. Marvin Lozano. He is going to be giving us a webinar this evening with lots of valuable information in English and Spanish, bilingual, accessing money from banks, alternative lenders, and SBA for your small business while surviving COVID-19. I also want to remind everyone that if you have any questions, please type it in the Q&A and we'll pick up those questions throughout the entire webinar. The New Mexico Small Business Development Center strongly encourages all New Mexico small businesses to learn about their risks to their cybersecurity and check out our YouTube channel with a list of pre-recorded on-demand webinars that are available on cybersecurity. I'll turn it over to Dr. Lozano for this evening's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Good evening, all of you folks that are with us this evening or that are watching it by some other means. This will be bilingual, so I will be using a very inclusive approach to bring this workshop to you. En español, buenas tardes a ustedes que están participando o están presentes el día de hoy y vamos a tratar de presentar información para ustedes que son emprendedores o quieren empezar su negocio o que ya tienen su negocio, ¿no? Para ayudarles cuando solicitan un préstamo o ayuda con bancos o con el SBA. So the title of this workshop is Accessing Money from Banks, Alternative Lenders, and SBA for Small Businesses during this COVID-19 pandemic. And we have created this for you because we believe that these are three major institutions that help either startups, entrepreneurs being startups, or existing businesses. So we want to get you able to go forward with your best foot forward in terms of accessing money. En español es acceso a dinero de los bancos, prestamistas alternativos y SBA, porque estos son los grupos que les ofrecen fondos, ¿no? Para su negocio, si van a empezar o si existen durante este tiempo de COVID-19. Okay, next. So I am the instructor here, as Leslie kindly mentioned, and I come to you with a background that's both actually having real life work experience as an entrepreneur, as well as in teaching entrepreneurship at a large community college here in New Mexico and four-year colleges. I have also got experience as an actual commercial lender. I was trained with a large bank to make commercial loans. So I bring to you both a practical lending background as well as a academic background that will help me bring this information to you. Okay, soy el doctor Marvin Lozano. Estoy presente esta noche, ¿no? Y nomás un poquito de la experiencia que tengo es, yo fui funcionario con un banco bastante grande y tratábamos de ayudar negocios que estaban empezando, emprendedores que ya tenían su negocio en todas las formas de préstamos. Entonces les puedo ayudar o cómo se pueden preparar para conseguir los fondos que necesitan. Porque sí hay una forma de presentarse, ¿ok? Y aparte de eso, soy profesor con un colegio aquí en Nuevo México y tengo muchos años trabajando como profesor de colegio y universidades. Entonces les puedo traer esa información también acerca de cómo pueden aprender y qué se ofrece en otras formas para emprendedores. Okay. Next. Okay, just a general vision then is we want you all to be well prepared as you go forward to present yourself to banks, to alternative lenders, or to SBA, and that's the focus of this workshop. Okay, how do you best go prepared to get the funding that you need? But I will also include some SBA programs towards the end of the workshop. The SBDCs are there to continue to assist you. They have offices throughout New Mexico, and it's a 1-hour session without you having to pay for that session. So contact them for help with business planning, as well as other workshop material that they have. Bueno, entonces, siguiendo con la presentación, es para decirles que existen otras ofertas con el SBDC de Nuevo México. Y hay oficinas en todo el estado, es nada de poner en Google SBDC, pueden ver en Nuevo México en el estado donde están localizados. Y ofrecen 1 hora de entrenamiento gratis, no tiene que pagar usted, ya está pagado, el gobierno lo paga y les ayuda, ¿ok? Entonces, es buena ayuda, deben de aprovecharlo. Next. Okay, next. Entonces, a ver, vamos a seguir.
Just a moment. Let me get to the right slide. Let me go through those. And here we go.
Okay. And the objectives of the training then are, as you could see just briefly there, we will provide some SBA, a link to the SBA website and just a brief overview of what the programs are there for you. Of note is that over the weekend, it was announced that SBA will now be taking on a considerable amount of helping those people that have obtained PPP assistance to actually assess whether they'll forgive that money that they put out. So if you're one of those individuals, go to that website and take a look at it. Where previously you had to go directly to your lender, the bank or credit union that was participating, okay? So again, objectives are to help you get ready for your application process. Los objetivos del entrenamiento es para darles una ventaja cuando van a prepararse a aplicar por fondos con varios grupos, sea bancos, credit unions o también con el SBA, okay? Next. Son 3 temas que quiero presentarles. Entonces, en breve va a ser en español, and I'll come back and say this in English, but in Spanish, it's acceso al capital. ¿Cómo pueden tener acceso al capital? ¿Cómo se pueden sostener y crecer y tener resiliencia? ¿Y cómo pueden solicitar recursos financieros? So, briefly, 3 themes rather that I wanted to share with you in the time we have. The first being, what's the best way to access capital? You know, we all know you can fill out an application, but what really goes on when you fill that application out? What's being looked at? How is it analyzed and evaluated by the folks that make a decision? And that's what I want to share with you, some insights into that this evening. Accessing your money is the first part, but how do you sustain your business? How do you grow it? And how do you keep that resilience? I'll talk a little bit about that because you go to all the effort of having a business and getting money for it. You want to certainly sustain yourself to pay it back and grow, be profitable. And then applying for financial resources. Who are the players? Who can you apply to get this help that we read about every day in the newspaper or here over the other forms of media that are out there, okay? Next. Entonces, número 1 viene a ser conceptos básicos. Les voy a dar una idea de las cosas que son 4, ¿no? Pero ¿qué son los 4 conceptos que analizan los que son funcionarios que están viendo su solicitud, su aplicación para fondos? So, this first Roman numeral is to give you some insight into the concepts that lenders are trained to look at when they evaluate a business loan. So it's beyond that application. You aren't usually privy to that because that's something that they're doing once you've given them the information. But I can help you understand and be better prepared as you go forward, okay? Next. Entonces son 4 puntos aquí que se analizan cuando usted presenta su solicitud con que sea banco, que sea credit union, que sea SBA, ¿ok? Ellos están buscando cómo está el crédito de usted, ¿ok? Cómo está su flujo de efectivo. ¿Qué tipo de garantía va a ofrecer en cambio por el préstamo? ¿Qué son las condiciones que existen en su industria? In English, basically what I was saying is there's a very basic model here that's looked at, training that lenders are trained, business lenders are trained to use to analyze your application. Okay, when you make a request to a lender, whether it be a bank, alternative lender, or SBA, they take a look at these four things. They're trained to look at them and they'll say, okay, what's the applicant's credit like? What's the business credit like? What's the individual credit like? They'll say, what's the cash flow? Cash flow is interesting because it doesn't have to be complicated, but there is some analysis that you can do to prepare yourself prior to going to that lender. Or even if you do it online, you can add a page if you can, or I'm sure there's an area where you can address that. And that is, okay, can't think of cash flow as being very similar to, in concept, as the blood is to a human body. Cash is to a business. So that is cash flow. Cash is needed to pay expenses on a daily basis or the business doesn't survive. So these lenders are looking to see, do you have enough cash flow to sustain your business, to pay back the money you're requesting if we set up or they set up a monthly payment? Can you cover it? The third thing is collateral. What are you offering in exchange? And typically what they're looking at here is things, the nature of hard assets. And by that I mean, it's important to say, listen, I have some equipment, or I have a car, I have a truck, I have some equity in my property and my real estate, because they want to be certain that you're serious about applying for some help and that you're willing to put up something of your own to minimize the risk. Okay, and so think about that. Think about what have you got? You know, think about what you're willing to offer. Excuse me. 4 is conditions, and conditions is an area that basically has a two-part role here. Conditions are clearly doing COVID-19. We know the conditions of COVID have impacted regions or areas around the state and around the country. So you can address this. What has been the impact on your business? You know, there may be that it's unique to the part of the state that you're in, that you've been impacted in a certain way. This is also conditions apply to your industry as a whole. Let's say, for example, you're in a fast food restaurant, or that you have a food truck. Well, that's in the food industry. So what you want to do is Google that food industry and find out what the trends are that are expected as we go forward, getting out of COVID, and maybe within the next year or two. And you say, gee, you know, in my area, in my industry, this is a growth area that it looks like there's going to be huge demand for the products that I sell in my business. Those are conditions, okay? And so be aware of those things. En español es crédito. ¿Cómo está su crédito? Okay, ¿es bueno o no? Si no es bueno, debe de explicársele a la gente que están revisando su aplicación o su solicitud. ¿Cómo está su crédito? Individualmente y también del negocio. El flujo de efectivo es aquí, de lo que pensamos es tiene bastante ingresos para cubrir los gastos y también el pago, si le van a requerir que tenga un pago en su préstamo. Es flujo de efectivo. Ahorita les enseño cómo se aparece. Y garantía viene siendo qué va a ofrecer usted en cambio por el préstamo. ¿Qué equipo? Una máquina, un título de un carro, algo así de esa forma. Y condiciones, ¿qué condiciones están afectando a usted en su negocio propio en el estado? ¿Okay? Esos son. Next. Okay, so you can see I've outlined this in English and in Spanish. I'll start it in English and come back to Spanish. Pre-startup estimate. So I want you to visualize, if you will, that you have a plain sheet of paper or an Excel spreadsheet. And what you do is before you do your cash flow, you'll see the cash flow in the next slide or two, probably the next, not the next one, but the following slide. You'll see what a cash flow looks like. But prior to the cash flow, and this may be a separate piece of paper also, you may just do a separate piece of paper, label it pre-startup estimate. Even if you have an existing business, define pre-startup as pre-startup to a new project you have. What you want to do with these funds that you're trying to get for the business. So under pre-startup, put what's the cash on hand that you have. Okay, and that's basically look at the average balance in your business banking account. If you have a loan or line of credit, put in there the outstanding balance, but also note what the original amounts were. Total this up, and you're giving the fellow or the individual, male or female, okay, an understanding of what you have on hand before you go forward with the request you're making of them. Estimación antes de iniciar. Aquí lo que estamos viendo es quiero que lo piensen como una página. Saquen una página blanca de papel con un lápiz, pueden poner estimación antes de iniciar arriba, ¿ok? Y luego abajo pone dinero disponible a la mano, es el título, y puede poner aquí el dinero que tiene disponible en su cuenta de cheques, en el banco, en el credit union, donde sea. Porque aquí le quiere enseñar a la persona que debe revisar su solicitud, que mira, tengo una cuenta de cheques, mira, tengo un balance en la cuenta de cheques, ¿ok? Por eso es estimación antes de iniciar. ¿Iniciar qué? El negocio o el préstamo. Aparte luego pongan los préstamos, línea de crédito, si ya tiene, si ya existe, pone la cantidad que le aprobaron y también el balance que tiene. Abajo puede poner otro dinero. Es posible que tiene fondos de un padre o de un tío. Aquí puede poner esos fondos también. En total es para enseñarle a alguien que usted le está pidiendo fondos, ¿no? Que, mira, yo estoy operando o yo he analizado lo que voy a necesitar antes de empezar para enseñarles esta forma. ¿Ok? Next. Okay, so this is cash paid out. So just like you would have done one blank page on pencil or an Excel spreadsheet, right? The previous slide, what you have, what the balance is that you've got in your business prior to startup or prior to the new project. In this case, you have a separate piece of paper and you label it what? Cash paid out. You're trying to convey to whoever's analyzing your request that, hey, you know, I've already invested myself in my business. I have purchases, I have merchandise, and this is the balance. I have capital purchases. You may have bought, let's say, for example, if you're a food truck, you went and invested in a food truck or equipment. It's whatever, that's why it's capital purchase. This is equipment or machinery. Cleaning supplies, as you're aware, this COVID-19 pandemic continues to play itself out in different ways across the country. In here, you may want to put that you've invested in some cleaning supplies that you can sell or that you have available, okay? Because you're aware of the situation that small businesses are facing today and you're dealing with it. Also, rent or telephone, okay? En español, aquí esta es otra página en blanco, igual como anteriormente vio que iba a poner los balances que tiene en una página blanca, ¿no? Aquí va a poner efectivo pagar, es lo que ya ha pagado, ¿ok? Como emprendedor en su negocio al día de hoy. En la fecha le pone la fecha de cuando está preparando su solicitud. Entonces va a tener una página en blanco o va a tener el Excel, ¿ok? Y prepara y le pone ahí, mira, ya compré, tengo compras de mercancía, ponerla en total. Mira, ya tengo compras de capital y puede específicamente puede poner si es una máquina o equipo y el valor que tiene, ¿ok? Ya invirtió usted en qué? En su idea de ser emprendedor. O si ya tiene su negocio, ya invirtió en el proyecto que quiere seguir y por eso le quiere clarificar, ¿ok? ¿Cómo andamos? ¿Cómo anda su negocio? Suministros de limpieza, esto viene siendo una cantidad que pone aquí de lo que ya tiene usted en su negocio. Invirtió, compró para vender o es posible que compró, por ejemplo, máscaras. Ahorita hay mucha información que ahora tenemos que regresar, especialmente en los edificios federales, ¿no? Y en los restaurantes, que hay que ponerse una máscara para entrar. En el trabajo, una máscara. Bueno, pues esto es algo que ustedes pueden vender. Piensen de qué van a poner aquí, una cantidad. Y si no, está bien, pero si ya compró, invirtió, ponga la cantidad. ¿Ok? También renta y teléfono es igual. ¿Ok? Next. Ok. Flujo de efectivo. Esta palabra muchas veces es algo que, no sé, gente le tiene miedo a la palabra, no sé, pero se lo voy a explicar para que sea algo que sea claro. Okay. So this is cash flow, and it's something that sometimes it's somewhat scary to applicants for a business loan, but it shouldn't be. And you certainly shouldn't need to pay anybody to prepare this for you. I shared with you that I was in banking many years as a commercial lender, and actually as a branch manager for a fairly sizable branch of a bank. And I would have clients, customers come to me and say, you know, I paid my accountant, or I paid a consultant, or I paid a CPA, or I paid somebody to prepare cash flow. And the feeling inside the bank was, well, that's great, because now they understand your cash flow. But we would prefer that you prepare it yourself, however basic it may be, so that it shows us you've analyzed your cash flow so that you understand it and can explain it, okay? Keep that idea in mind. I'll say this in Spanish and then we'll continue. En español, el flujo de efectivo es un proyecto, proyección que pueden hacer ustedes, sea 6 meses o 12 meses, lo que le pidan, pero si lo hace 6 meses, yo creo que los otros 6 meses lo puede hacer sin problema. Lo que dije en inglés es muchas veces, cuando yo estuve como funcionario en un banco y como venían mis clientes y me decían algunas veces, no todos, y también cuando era gerente de banco comercial, me decían, ¿sabes qué? Le pagué a mi contador que me prepararan el flujo de efectivo. Y les decía yo, bueno, ya les pagaste, ¿no? Pero a la otra vez, o hubiera sido mejor si si lo hubieras hecho ustedes, en vez de pagarle a otra persona. ¿Por qué? Porque queremos saber, y los que aprueban sus créditos quieren saber si usted entiende su flujo de efectivo, si usted lo preparó. Y así es que sí entiende su negocio. Okay? So basically, when you do this, you would prepare for the 6 months beginning, not in January. I use January here as a placeholder, but you would put the month that applies to you for your projection. As an example, in today's, given that we are already in August, maybe instead of January, you would put August, and then followed by September, October, November, December, January. Those would be the months. And then you would put your projected cash receipts. Remember, what we're trying to do is project this cash flow out to show the folks that are helping us with some type of business help, a business loan, business line of credit, that we are aware of kind of cash sales or cash receipts, or if you sell on credit, collection of receivables that'll be coming into the business to pay their monthly payment. Okay, it's a good analysis for you that will really put you on good terms with the lender, because it shows that you are aware of your business and what you're doing in terms of cash flow. And so think about that. En español, la idea es que usen el mes que le aplica a ustedes cuando van a empezar su negocio o cuando van a empezar el proyecto que quieren empezar con los fondos de sea un banco, credit union o el SBA. Por ejemplo, ahorita enseño yo que es enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo y junio. Ustedes ponen los meses que le aplican a ustedes. Si van a sacar la ayuda en agosto, empiecen con agosto. Agosto, septiembre, octubre y así, ¿ok? Y luego ponen ustedes, mira, quieren poner proyectando cómo van a pagar el préstamo, la línea de crédito. Aquí es importante poner las ventas de efectivo que espera usted tener en su negocio. Si venden en crédito, colecciones de cuentas por cobrar. Si venden en enero y reciben en febrero, ponen los fondos en febrero. También si ya tiene un préstamo, línea de crédito o otro efectivo, aquí lo ponen los meses que está haciendo los pagos, ¿ok? Es muy claramente básico, pero ¿sabe qué? Ustedes deben de entender que cuando alguien que es funcionario, que trabaja con los bancos, SBA o con los credit unions, les van a de ver la vista va a ser muy importante. Van a ver que sí entienden ustedes su negocio y pueden analizar en el futuro qué esperan en su negocio. ¿Ok? Next. Okay, so here basically I have just a basic quote because it's a good time, right, in the presentation to maybe reflect a little bit on your own mindset as an entrepreneur. And I really like this one because it goes to the heart of being an entrepreneur, and that is, do you love what you are, or rather do not love what you are, but what you can become? This is consistent with the cash flows because what we're doing is we're projecting out where we want to be. You know, and in today's COVID world, it's hard for businesses. What I'm seeing as a consultant in New Mexico, I work with chambers of commerce. I work with alternative lenders, and in fact, tomorrow I'll be meeting with a high-level commercial lender because they want my insight on what I'm seeing. And what I am seeing is that small businesses continue to struggle. But if you are thinking like an entrepreneur, think about what you can become and be driven by your actions should follow what you can become. En español es no ames lo que eras, sino lo que puedes llegar a ser. La idea aquí es, quiero que tengan la mentalidad de emprendedor. Como les digo, yo mañana tengo una junta con un banquero comercial y quiere saber, porque yo soy consultor, quieren saber qué veo yo en Nuevo México con los negocios pequeños y cómo le está afectando todavía COVID, porque siguen los problemas de COVID, ¿no? Y la mentalidad aquí deben de tener todos ustedes, porque los que tienen buen éxito, los emprendedores que tienen buen éxito, piensan en el futuro. ¿Qué puedo llegar a hacer con su ayuda? Entonces, en la mente piensen de esa forma. Si me ayudan con estos fondos, usted les dice a ellos, esto puedo llegar a hacer. Por eso le estoy pidiendo ayuda. Next. Okay, so we're moving on to theme 2, and that is, as you can see, written in English in here, Roman numeral 2, it's business sustainability. And the reason that I think this is important to cover is because, you know, I think too often the small businesses that I talk to as when I was doing commercial lending or even in teaching, I taught a lot of folks that wanted to be entrepreneurs and start their businesses. And they basically, they just focus on the money, and not on how they can sustain or how they plan to sustain their business once they get the money. And you should be thinking of both. If you have a certain amount of money in play or that you'd like to apply for, once you have it and it is in play or it is in your business, how are you going to use it? You know, and if you're starting up as a small business, you know, it's important to recognize you don't need a new idea to start a business. You can take an existing idea, but what's important is that you be clear on your idea and understand that you want to make it unique. And so that's what you present to anyone that you're talking to about your business, especially folks that you're going to for money. So they may say to you, well, there's other businesses like this. What sets you apart? Especially if you're a restaurant, you know, somebody might say, you know, I know I was trained as a lender to say, oh, gee, you know, everybody wants to start a restaurant. It's not true, but they were simply saying there are a lot of folks that go towards restaurant, and that's fine. But what you want to do is say, ours is different because there is no one else in this market that's doing what we do. Okay, so you don't need a lot of money. You need clarity on what you're going to do. Okay, and you should have some training and experience, and create some type of plan. This is where the SBDCs can help you. They can help you put together a business plan, but I encourage you to keep it brief. Keep a business plan focused on the money and how you're going to pay it back, how you're going to manage the business, and what your market is. Okay, those are important ideas. And by all means, if you need a building and you're starting up, the thought process should be that you're going to rent until you can develop your business and it's already operating and you can show the need for a building. I'm working right now with someone who is actually starting a third franchise here in New Mexico. And they, in fact, are looking at renting a building. Okay, and they're going to do they're looking for money to do what's called a build out. That is to say, do the improvements to the building. And that's tricky because for someone who's lending money, they say, okay, let's see, you're going to rent a building. The landlord will have priority against any improvements you make. So do we really want to lend to you to make improvements to a building? So you see, those are questions that come up when you're looking for a building. So think about that. Get advice from your SBDC counselors or from your lender, your commercial lender, wherever that may be. Okay. Okay. Next. Okay. Along the lines of the second theme, this is the growth part, and just basically growth. Think about this is what you can do. You should feel that you have assessed yourself, evaluated yourself, and be able to convey that to anyone you go seeking help from, that you are prepared as an entrepreneur. Because they'll want to know, have you taken the time to either take a class, to take a workshop, to do some research? And this is where you want to be clear about that. Okay. What are your attitudes about money and prosperity? Many times I would ask, I remember as a commercial lender, an applicant would come to me and say, I want to borrow some money. And of course, my question would be, how much? And their answer would be something I don't recommend any of you to do, but their answer would be, how much can you lend me? And that's the wrong answer. You should be clear on what you need the money and what for. It reflects your attitude towards money, and that you are you've thought through what you want to do. Okay. Today's world, there's a concept called entrepreneurial mindset. Read up on it. Okay. Recognize that successful entrepreneurs have a certain way of thinking. Okay. And you want to be a part of that. En español, aquí estamos hablando de crecimiento. ¿Cómo va a crecer su negocio? Porque es importante comunicar que aparte de necesitar los fondos, usted va a hacer el negocio. Entonces, hay que evaluar si está bien preparado. Usted mismo ha de buscar o pues, analizar si está preparado para ser emprendedor, porque es difícil. Muchas veces alguien que emprende quiere ser emprendedor porque quiere mucho dinero, pero no piensan en las horas que va a tomar cuando empiezan. Y no piensan muchas veces no pueden participar en cosas de familia porque están tratando de crecer su negocio, ¿no? Entonces, piénsenlo bien. Piensen de cómo van a utilizar los fondos. Si saca fondos de forma de préstamo o de beca, piensen bueno, cómo va a utilizarlo. Okay, que luego no lo va a utilizar, como no lo va a tirar en cosas que no son importantes para el negocio, pero específicamente para un equipo, fondos para operar, cómo va a usar los fondos. Y luego también, ¿qué es su mentalidad? Es parte de todo eso. ¿Está preparado para trabajar esas horas que son largas, para trabajar el sábado y el domingo? Eso lo que va a requerir para empezar. Ya cuando tiene buen éxito, es posible que tiene un gerente que trabaja esas horas, ¿no? Pero al empezar ustedes ahí, porque en el crecimiento toma mucho tiempo. Ok. Next. Ok, aquí en la resiliencia or resilience. Basically, what I want to share with you is that resilience is this idea that you're here for the long haul. You're not going to give up. As you can see, the quote at the bottom of the page is Thomas Edison. And what better model for us, someone who stuck with it and was able to create a product, right, that is just went around the world, so to speak. And his philosophy, right, was that we should never give up. Okay, our greatest weakness is giving up. This is taken from his thoughts were. The surest way to succeed is always try one more time. Think about all the times where you, maybe it was just some basic event, maybe it was in school, maybe it was in the workplace, where you felt like quitting. No one else believed in what you were doing. They were maybe reluctant to praise you for it, but then you stuck with it and you were successful. This is the thinking here, okay, that you want to apply. Be resilient. In Spanish, it's nuestra más grande realidad es darnos por vencidos. Y la idea aquí es de seguir la lucha, de tratar de crecer tu negocio, empezarlo y crecerlo, porque va a ser difícil. Hay que aceptar, es buena palabra, aceptar que vas a tener que trabajar muchas horas, trabajar a días posiblemente el sábado y el domingo, pero que no se vencen, porque lo que pasa es que con tiempo, si usted hace lo que se debe hacer en su negocio y sigue tratando de hacer bien por su negocio, entonces una vez más es posible todo lo que va a necesitar para tener buen éxito. ¿Ok? Entonces es algo muy importante. Como emprendedor, no se den, tengan ganas, como se dice, ¿no? Muchas veces cuando yo trabajé en la frontera como funcionario de préstamos comerciales con muchos clientes internacionales, es la palabra que usaban ellos. Me decían, ¿sabes qué? Nosotros en nuestro negocio tenemos las ganas de tener éxito, las ganas. Y es muy importante entender qué quiere decir eso. Okay. Next. Ok, entonces aquí vamos a ver, algo de número 3. Aquí van a ser los bancos, ¿qué son? Cooperativos de crédito, ¿qué son? Prestamistas alternativos, ¿qué son? Y SBA. Bueno, ya sabemos SBA es federal, pero ¿qué hace? So here I'll be talking in this theme, basically addressing what we refer to as banks. Typically, they're commercial banks and what they do. I'll talk to credit unions and what they do, what sets them apart, alternative lenders, who they are, and some of the SBA programs later on towards the end of the presentation, but basically who they are. So let me define these things before we move on. And I'll do this in Spanish, then in English, so that we continue being inclusive in the presentation as we go forward, right? So I'll do this in Spanish and come back in English, okay? Bancos. Bancos son, cuando usamos la palabra aquí, son, ya saben lo que son, no existen para abrir una cuenta de cheques, existen para conseguir un préstamo o una línea de crédito, para ayudarle a negocios pequeños y también si necesita alguien un préstamo individualmente, ¿no? Pero los bancos son un poquito diferentes, aunque hay un grupo del gobierno que tiene la aseguranza en cada banco. Si ustedes se dan cuenta, la segunda vez o cuando vayan a su banco, a la sucursal, en la puerta cuando va entrando, tienen las letras FDIC, F-I-C-D, F-D-I-C, ¿ok? FDIC. Y eso quiere decir que el gobierno va a garantizar las cuentas del banco. Eso es importante porque tiene que ver con la mentalidad de los bancos. Los funcionarios en el banco, cuando los preparan para ser funcionarios, ellos tienen que tener cuidado en los préstamos que hacen. ¿Por qué? Porque el gobierno cada año mandan a contadores a doctores, vamos a decir, para revisar los préstamos que hicieron. Entonces, aunque se acuerdan que hablamos de qué, hablamos de crédito, cómo está su crédito, su flujo efectivo, su garantía y condiciones. Por eso es que cuando alguien solicita un préstamo, los bancos van a tener mucho cuidado, ¿ok? Entonces, y si es emprendedor empezando, es más difícil sacar un crédito con ellos. Si ya existe el negocio, los bancos te van a ayudar más. ¿Por qué? Porque los bancos, entonces, ellos existen para ayudar muchas veces a negocios que ya existen, que tienen estados financieros que enseñan que ya tuviste ventas, ¿ok? Diferente son los cooperativos de créditos, viene siendo lo que le dicen en inglés the credit unions. Ellos son casi como bancos y en tiempos más recientes ellos están trabajando igual como bancos casi, pero muchas veces cuando ellos empezaron, se dedicaban a créditos ¿para qué? Para comprar casa o también para personalmente. Que ahora hay que preguntar, si trabaja con un cooperativo de crédito, ¿qué hacen ustedes? Ustedes les preguntan a ellos, ¿hacen ustedes créditos y ayudan con créditos de pequeños negocios? Y también con esta cosa ahorita de COVID, el SBA, ¿trabajan con los programas del SBA o no? Son preguntas que ustedes deben hacer. Número 3, es prestamistas alternativos. Eso viene siendo organizaciones especialmente en Nuevo México. Hay que hacerlos Google, ¿ok? Porque lo que hacen ellos son como bancos, pero no tienen los mismos controles del gobierno que les dice el gobierno, ustedes tienen que hacer créditos muy conservativos. Ellos pueden hacerle un crédito más flexible. Entonces, busquen a ver cómo le pueden ayudar a usted. Es posible que necesita un crédito de ahorita, los intereses están muy bajos. Yo sé que en el SBA y uno de los programas con los prestamistas alternativos, el crédito de un préstamo en la línea de crédito es 3.75%. Eso es muy, muy bajo si es ese programa. Y luego el SBA es algo del gobierno, es parte del gobierno. Existen ellos para garantizar créditos. Ahora en estos tiempos también están aprobando créditos, pero la mayormente de trabajo de ellos es para garantizar créditos. ¿Ok? Pero de todas maneras deben saber que existen y qué información tienen. Okay, now let's do this in English, all right? So here basically what I was trying to do is provide an overview of banks, credit unions, alternative lenders, and SBA, because they are distinct and different in certain ways. Banks are typically commercial banks. They may be community lenders, or they may be beyond community lenders under a federal banking system, a national bank, if you will. But basically, they are overseen by what's called the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. That means that it's a plus when you open your account there, whether they're savings accounts or business banking accounts or personal business bank accounts, because you know that should that bank, let's just say we don't want them to have to close their doors, but should they do that, the federal government will step up and they will basically refund those deposits up to a certain amount. So what I was saying in Spanish is be sure that when you enter the bank, that your bank, whatever the bank is, ask them what FDIC insures the checking accounts, the savings accounts, and the loans for that they're making. Okay, basically what you want to know is that, because that goes to the idea of why they are sometimes viewed as being very conservative in their lending. They are audited annually by FDIC standards, and they need to be careful. Remember what I talked about credit? I talked about cash flow. I talked about collateral, and I talked about conditions early on, the model of lenders. And the reason it's there is because they need to be able to document how they looked at a loan. Because of that, banks will be a little bit more, let's say, stringent with any loan application, and they tend to favor small businesses that have already been operating and have an existing cash flow, not a projected cash flow, but an existing cash flow. So they can say, these are loans we know already these businesses are operating and generating income and can pay our loans. Those are banks. Credit unions are very similar. They used to be strictly for home loans and for individual loans. As you go around town, you usually see them in around the state. But more recently, and I say that in the past, I would say 5 to 10 years, they've become more actively involved in business lending. And so some of the credit unions are very active and have large business lending portfolios and maybe a good match for you. They also participate in some of the SBA programs during COVID, the PPP programs, the disaster loan programs, the different programs that are there. And so you need both with banks and credit unions, develop a relationship with someone in those institutions. If you have a bank or a credit union where you do business, go beyond the typical day-to-day transactions. You should be able to go in and find out who the managers are and who the lenders are so that they know who you are. I think as I was teaching entrepreneurs and teaching financial classes in the community college and at four-year institutions, folks didn't understand this, and they typically thought, well, I'll wait till I have my business plan or till I need something, then I go to these banks and credit unions. Alternative lenders and SBA would apply also. But no, you want to initiate some kind of what I call relationship early on, because relationships aren't overnight. You need to get acquainted with them, let them know who you are, let them know what you're doing. Remember, you're thinking as an entrepreneur into the future. You want to share with them where you want to take the business and where you want to go. Very important, okay? So the alternative lenders are those that are nonprofits that have money that have come to them via various folks. It's not just from deposits like banks and credit unions, right? The money has come to them because they have, as nonprofits, obtained money from investors, maybe the federal government, maybe other banks, and then they turn around and lend the money. Why are they important? They're important because they are more flexible with a startup. So if you're an entrepreneur thinking of starting a business, you should Google alternative lenders, see who they are in the state of New Mexico, and consider talking to them, because as a startup, you are going to have a better chance of getting the funding that you need to start up. Okay, they have flexibility when it comes to credit, to cash flow, and collateral. Okay, they're all a little bit different, but Google alternative lenders and find out. And here I'm talking alternative lenders that are maybe CDFIs here in the state of New Mexico, or are clearly well-respected alternative lenders in the community that have relationships with banks and credit unions. Sometimes you can ask your bank who they work with. And then SBA, of course. SBA has been a lifesaver during COVID. They provided a lot of different programs. It started with the PPP program, and then it went on to what? It went on to some disaster loan lending that they do. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the SBA website. But they also have in this era restaurant programs for those that are selling food, how they're helping sustain those businesses. I think something I want to note that is very current that I read about this weekend was that when we talk about PPP program, that those funds, payroll protection program, the money is no longer being issued by SBA. And originally it wasn't SBA that was funding those programs. It was the banks and the credit unions that were authorized to do it. But I mentioned this recent occurrence that I read about because in the Wall Street Journal, actually, this past Friday, is that now SBA, because of the volume of small businesses that had PPP assistance, the SBA will now be also reviewing those PPP loan programs for forgiveness. Remember, PPP is forgivable. That doesn't mean it's automatically forgivable. There's a evaluation process. So be aware, maybe SBA, if you have a small PPP funding that came to you through SBA or through your lender, but it was SBA funding, SBA is now involved actually in the assessment of whether you'll have to pay it back or not. Okay, really important for you to know that. Next. Ok, bueno, ya hablamos acerca de los bancos y de los uniones de crédito en Nuevo México. Nomás claramente, si tienen algún programa de protección de cheques de pago de PPP, les quiero decir en español que lo que ocurrió esta semana pasada es que ahora SBA está participando en ellos, van a evaluar si se puede olvidar la ayuda del PPP en forma de ayuda a los pequeños negocios. En otras palabras, si tienen ayuda de forma de PPP, hablen, pónganse en contacto con el SBA a ver si les pueden cancelar la ayuda para que no se haga un crédito, un préstamo, ¿ok? Porque eso depende. Anteriormente eran los bancos y los credit unions que tenían que participar en esto para analizar si se iba a olvidar la deuda. Ahora va a ser SBA, ¿ok? Entonces, si tiene una cantidad pequeña, hay que ponerse en contacto con ellos también, ¿ok? So what I was saying again is that, you know, when banks and credit unions initially, it was the PPP program that it was SBA funding, but it was the decision-making occurring in either your bank or your credit union. Over the weekend, again, to briefly emphasize, a new initiative that's come out is SBA is now getting involved in evaluating whether those PPP forms of assistance will be forgiven, and you should put yourself in contact with them as soon as you can. Okay, next. Ok, entonces, prestamistas alternativos, tres formas de ayuda. Número uno viene siendo el préstamo línea de crédito de COVID. Importante que entender que esta es ayuda que los prestamistas alternativos tienen disponible. Es una línea o un préstamo línea de crédito, un tipo de interés muy bajo, 3.75%. Es muy bajo. En tiempos normales es más como 6-7% un préstamo de negocio. También tienen préstamos de micropréstamos y también son préstamos pequeños, $50,000 ni menos, que ellos participan con el SBA. Y también un programa que le dicen el 504. Ese es programa para edificios, comprar edificios o equipo. Ellos participan en eso también. So basically what I was saying is that SBA, or rather here, the alternative community lenders, I encourage you to go online and see which ones are participating with SBA programs such as the COVID-19 loans and lines of credit, because the interest rates are 3.75%, unheard of in regular times. This is a COVID rate. If you need a loan, consider them. They participate in microloans with SBA, and those SBA microloans are usually $50,000 or less, and they participate in the SBA 504 program, and that's for folks that are doing large equipment or building type of loans. So these are very reputable people. I encourage you to talk to your bank or credit union to see which alternative community lenders they recommend, which ones they work with, and especially if you're a startup, this is an avenue you need to take, okay? Next. Bueno, ya llegamos casi al fin. Aquí les vamos a enseñar el SBA here. We're going to take a look at the SBA website, okay? What you need to become familiar with. Tienen que leer ustedes porque aquí está información acerca del programa de protección, el programa de los préstamos EIDL, y la guía de recursos de COVID-19. Mucha información en inglés and español. So this information at the SBA website is in English and Spanish, okay? You pick the choice. Remember, we're inclusive, so you want to pick the language that's most helpful to you, okay? Leslie, we're good to open that one, I think.
Okay, are you seeing, are we still on the slideshow? I'm having a little bit
Yes,
of,
we're on the slideshow. We're on the one with SBA, the www.gov one.
okay, let me get, hold on just a minute. Let me get to that.
Okay,
Yeah,
and I can talk to it a little bit while you're
okay.
getting to it.
Let's see.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. So this is in Spanish for you English speakers, but it's also in English. But we're showing it in Spanish here, okay? En español pueden ver ustedes el programa como lo presenta SBA. Entonces pueden ir a www.sba.gov, okay? SBA.gov. You see it in English, it's in Spanish too. If you're a Spanish speaker, here are your options. Aquí están las opciones. Hay programa de protección de pago. EIDL programa es ayuda de préstamo. Aquí son préstamos de $50,000. Es típico de fondos para operar. Un préstamo por operar. Si le interesa eso, va aquí. If you're interested in a disaster loan, you go to EIDL. That's disaster loans. If you're interested in PPP repayment processes, you can go to the PPP link. Okay. And then as you can see, I think there's one for restaurants a little further down. There is also for the, bueno, no lo estamos viendo aquí, pero también hay acerca si tiene restaurante. If you have a restaurant, that program is also shown here. And we have one last slide that will tell you what the program is, just briefly. So maybe we can get out, Leslie, and just show that slide, and that would help.
Yes, sir. Just a second. Let me get back to that slide.
You bet, you bet.
Okay. All right.
Ok, entonces SBA, mucha ayuda allí. Aquí está, ok, y Leslie les va a enseñar aquí. Okay, you can leave it there, Leslie, if you'd like.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if you look below, you can see that there's something referred to at that website as Relief Options Restaurant Revitalization Fund. And that is the funding through the CARES Act that SBA has available also for restaurant revitalization. If you have a restaurant, make sure you go to the website and read about how that program will help you. It's going to be there a while, okay? En español hay que aprovechar. Si tiene restaurante, vaya aquí y lea los fondos y la ayuda que está disponible para alguien que tiene restaurante o un negocio que tiene que ver con comida. Es posible que les puedan ayudar con una forma de crédito, okay? Con el SBA. Okay, Leslie, I think that takes care of us with
Great. I want to update everyone that our webinars are no cost. We have a whole series of webinars coming up. We do have Dr. Rivera and Dr. Lozano transitioning to the new normal next week, bilingual again. We also have a webinar on cryptocurrency. We have a webinar on cash is king, cash management for your small business, among others. We want to remind you that you will get a copy of the slideshow today, Dr. Lozano's official copy that will be sent to you afterwards, along with how to sign up for any kind of SBDC counseling. Again, the counseling is no cost. We're here every step of the way for your business. So we'd like to thank Dr. Lozano and everyone attending And please reach out because we're here to help. Do you have any follow-up thoughts or last words before we pop off?
Thank you. Gracias a todos.
Thanks, everybody. You have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Thank you.